relative to other people, somebody with an IQ score of 140 is in the upper less than 1%, whereas somebody with an IQ of 70 is 2 standard deviations below the mean. That's a different percentile.
So it's similar to, like, in chess, you have an ELO rating that's designed to rank order people. So you can't say it's twice one person. If your ELO rating is twice another person, I don't think you're twice as good at chess.
Exactly.
It's not stable in that way, but because it's very difficult to do these kinds of comparisons. But so what can we say about the number itself? Is that stable across tests and so on, or no?
There are a number of statistical properties of any test. They're called psychometric properties. You have validity, you have reliability. There are many different kinds of reliability. They all essentially measure stability. And IQ tests are stable within an individual. There are some longitudinal studies where children were measured at age 11, and again when they were 70 years old, and the two IQ scores are highly correlated with each other. This comes from a fascinating study from Scotland. In the 1930s, some researchers decided to get an IQ test on every single child age 11 in the whole country. Wow. And they did. And those records were discovered in an old storeroom at the University of Edinburgh by a friend of mine, Ian Deary, who found the records, digitized them, and has done a lot of research on the people who are still alive today from that original study, including brain imaging research, by the way. Really, it's a fascinating group of people who are studied. And not to get ahead of the story, but one of the most interesting things they found is a very strong relationship between IQ measured at age 11 and mortality. So that, in the 70 years later, they looked at the survival rates, and they could get death records from everybody. And Scotland has universal health care for everybody. And it turned out if you divide the people by their age 11 IQ score into quartiles, and then look at how many people are alive 70 years later, I know this is in the book. I have the graph in the book, but there are essentially twice as many people alive in the highest IQ quartile than in the lowest IQ quartile. It's true in men and women.
Interesting.
So it makes a big difference. Now, why this is the case is not so clear, since everyone had access to health care.